Breakfast.
It is the Wave, 97.9 WHAV, and on the line with us is Congressman Seth Moulton, a candidate for U.S. Senate. And Seth, good morning to you. Thanks for joining me today.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Just wanted to do a little introduction for you. You are currently the Democratic 6th District Congressman, and you've decided not to run for re-election to the U.S. House of Representatives, instead challenging incumbent U.S. Senator Edward Markey. And the Democratic voters get a chance to decide during the party's primary on Tuesday, September 1st, which of the two will face Republican John Deaton during the final election on Tuesday, November 3rd. And you were first elected to Congress in 2014. So you've had some time there in Washington. Just want to let you know, we'll keep an eye on the time, and if you could, in a couple of sentences, answer the questions, that would be fantastic. Now, first question, the challenge of maintaining and paying for infrastructure. Well, that was recently highlighted when Haverhill suffered a forced main sewer break that sent millions of gallons of untreated sewage into the Merrimack River. It did that per day. You proposed raising the ceiling for upgrading Haverhill's wastewater infrastructure from $40 million to $50 million. So the question is, how confident are you that Haverhill will ever see that money, and what do you propose as a long-term solution to paying for such infrastructure?
Well, first of all, it's great to be here. You know, I've served in Congress for 10 years, but I was a Marine before that. I did 4 tours of Iraq where I really saw the consequences of failed leadership in Washington. And that's why I'm running for Senate, because I think we're all living the consequences of failed leadership in Washington, and the fact that we have sewers breaking that should have been fixed 50 years ago and are still not fixed today, so they're polluting our rivers, polluting our beaches, right when everyone's trying to enjoy the 4th of July holiday. I mean, that's exactly why we need change in Washington. And it's why I've worked with Congresswoman Lori Trahan to deliver $50 million to fix this, because Haverhill residents can't take care of this on your own. You know, you need help. This is exactly what you should expect the federal government to do. And the investment that we're bringing here will deliver these long overdue modernizations. And it's important to note that under the Trump administration, a lot of this money has been politicized. But the fact that we're able to secure this money, and yes, I do expect it to be delivered, despite all the politicization of funds from the Trump administration, and that's just proof that you can get things done in Washington, even in this very divided environment.
Now, federal spending cuts threaten to eliminate vital funding for health and education, among many other services that residents have come to expect. And Haverhill Public Schools are expecting substantial program and staff cuts next year, for example. And what will you do in the Senate to help blunt such cuts?
Well, you know, I've already delivered $2 billion to the City of Lynn. I mean, imagine what $2 billion would do for Haverhill. That's the kind of hard work that I've been putting in Washington for 10 years. And so I know how the system works. I've not been there so long that I've been captured by the system. Senator Markey, he's been there for 50 years. 50 years in Washington. He came here before Jimmy Carter. He's actually been elected longer than I've been alive. And he really just stays in Washington. But I'm someone who gets out all around the Commonwealth. I've done 50 town halls just in the course of this campaign, in contrast to the Senator's one. And so one of the first things I'll do is show up in the communities that need help. And number 2, deliver the funding the communities need, just like I've delivered for Lynn as the congressman of the 6th District in the North Shore and the Merrimack Valley. But third, the other thing we need to talk about is how our schools, our education system needs to change to meet the challenges of the new world. A lot of kids, for example, want to go to vocational school right now because they know that being an electrician or a plumber is not a job that will get automated out of existence by AI. But we're not giving enough opportunities for kids to get vocational education. There's lines out the door of vocational schools in Massachusetts, while the current establishment politicians debate how to ration those seats. I'm a younger leader. I'm a next generation leader. And I say, let's build more seats. Let's make sure that kids have the opportunities that they want and deserve to succeed in this changing world.
Now, last month, Haverhill had its second annual Pride Parade, where the organizers said among their goals to build bridges of understanding. And you've taken some heat for your comment in 2024 that you don't want your daughters, quote, getting run over on the playing field by a male or formerly male athlete. So putting aside any merits you believe support your position in hindsight, do you think your terminology describing transgender individuals was insensitive?
Look, I have a 100% voting record on this issue, and I recognize that a lot of transgender people are getting attacked right now by this administration. But in fairness, you cut off half of my quote. What I said is that as a Democrat, we're not even allowed to discuss these issues, and that's wrong. The point is that if we want to lead on these issues, if we want to support transgender people, if we want to support all kids, then we ought to be willing to have these tough conversations. I mean, what do you think the line should be for fairness and competition in sports for kids? My young kids play co-ed sports. That's really an important part of growing up, and it's why I've voted repeatedly against the hateful Republican legislation that would take those opportunities away. But on the other hand, kids and parents have, I think, legitimate concerns that we should discuss when it comes to high school and college sports. And we ought to lead that discussion as Democrats. We should not cede that territory to the Republicans, which is what we've been doing for far too long. So I'm proud to be supportive of transgender people in the military. I have fought for years to allow them to serve in our armed services. I'm proud to have strong transgender leaders supporting my campaign. But I'm also a Democrat who says, don't just give this up to the Republicans. Let's lead on this issue ourselves, because we're doing a disservice to the very people that we claim to protect and support if we can't even have tough conversations about these issues.
Now, Haverhill and other so-called entitlement communities, they've relied on community development block grants to help lift low-income residents and rebuild neighborhoods for 50 years. Should this program come under a threat of cuts? And what would be your position?
Well, again, the Trump administration is trying to politicize everything. I mean, even blue states like Massachusetts, which are overall contributors to the federal treasury, are getting attacked by this administration, and traditional funding programs are getting cut or they're being politicized. And we see this across the state. We see it with the block grant program that you're talking about. We see it with funding for universities. We see it with biotech research that's a hallmark of the Massachusetts economy and important to the whole world. Trump is trying to politicize all of this. And that's why you need a better fighter in Washington. You need someone who knows what it means to stand up to this administration, who's not afraid to go on Fox News and go on Sean Hannity, take on these MAGA Republicans where they are. And it's why we need a new generation of Democratic leaders in our party, because Senator Markey supports the Schumer establishment. He's 80 years old and not really up to the fight that we need today. I have a background as a Marine. I know how to fight. I know how to take on these Republicans. I'm not afraid. I'm not going to back down. And we need progressive fighters to represent Massachusetts in Washington every single. I've gotten things done under the Trump administration, like delivering the funding, $50 million for improving Haverhill's water infrastructure. I co-authored 988, the National Mental Health Hotline, with a fellow veteran across the aisle, and teen suicide is down 11% just because of that bill. And we got that passed under the first Trump administration, which is proof that if you have a progressive fighter, if you have someone who knows how to stand up to these Republicans and get things done even in a divided Washington, you can make a real difference in people's lives back here at home. I mean, look, if you're happy with the status quo, if you like MAGA running everything, costs going up across the board, then you should vote for the establishment. Vote for the status quo. Senator Markey is a status quo establishment politician, and he's had 50 years to try to get these things done. If you're not happy, though, if you think we need change, if you think we can do better, if you think we can fight and win against these MAGA Republicans, well, then I encourage you to check out my campaign, because that's what this race is all about. It's a referendum on the future of the Democratic Party.
Seth, I want to thank you for your time, and we have about a minute left. If you, what would be your elevator pitch, speaking one-to-one to a voter? Why should they vote for you?
Because you need a progressive fighter in Washington, and it's time for change. And the opportunity before us is to usher in a new generation of leaders in the Democratic Party who know how to fight the MAGA Republicans and get things done for people back here in Massachusetts, to transform our education system so our kids are ready for a new world, to invest in transformative infrastructure like high-speed and regional rail to make it faster than driving to get all around eastern Massachusetts, and dramatically lower housing costs by giving you better access to affordable housing and much faster access to the jobs that people are able to get. That's the future for Massachusetts. It's not continuing the status quo. This is a referendum on the future of our Commonwealth and our country. And I encourage you to join our team. Check out SethMoulton.com, sign up, volunteer, be a part of this movement for change. It's an opportunity for Massachusetts. It's an opportunity for the country.
All right. Well, Seth, thank you very much, and good luck in the upcoming primary.
Thank you very much.
All right.
September 1st is voting day. Democrats and independents can vote as well. Don't forget that. Independents in Massachusetts, come get a Democratic primary ballot on September 1st. If you're not going to be around, sign up for an early ballot. You can do that on our website and be a part of change for the future of the Commonwealth.
All right. Thank you so much, Seth. That's Democratic 6th District Congressman Seth Moulton. He is running against U.S. Senator Ed Markey for the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. Our guest this morning here on The Wave, 97.9 WHAV.
Wake up with Wayne Damon weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on 97.9 FM WHAV.
Catch the wave, WHAV.